Hello and welcome to the audio modding guide for Stray. I'm going to show you how to replace sound cues and audio files directly to make your audio mods for the game. So I'm going to put all the tools in the description, all the links to the tools. But the first main one you need is this audio modding template. Now if you read this README here, it's essentially all of the reconstructed sound assets for Unreal Engine, and this allows us to effectively cut out most of the work when audio modding for Unreal Engine games. So the first thing you want to do is download Unreal Engine 4.27.2 from the Epic Games store. So there's a tab in the store that has Unreal Engine and you can add it. It's approximately 20 or 30 gigabytes. You don't have to download all the stuff, you can just download like the main bit and that's it. And make sure it is 4.27.2, otherwise it won't work for you, because Stray is in 4.27. So the first thing you need to do is download this zip, or you can clone the repo if you know how GitHub works. I already have it downloaded, but you're also going to need the All Assets branch as well. So you can go to this and then All Assets. I'm going to switch to this monitor. And you can see here, I've downloaded the two like branches here. There'll be zips and you unzip them. Inside main is an Unreal Engine project. We want to open this up. And while that's opening, the example I'm going to go through in this video is I'm going to replace the brain aneurysm like meme sound with the, like the Zerg exploding sound when you kill it with the UV light, with that meme sound effect. Now the file format that you replace with, it has to be either .ogg or .wav. .mp3 will not work, so you have to keep that in mind. There are plenty of online converters from .mp3 to either of those formats. I suggest .ogg because it's like much smaller in size, and obviously the smaller the download size, the better. And the loss of quality doesn't really matter for this game. So you can see we've got this folder, it's called Sound and Tools and Settings. We've got all these files. These are all of the reconstructed files from the game's assets. Now we have the main project open, which is like the skeleton. We also need to get all the all asset stuff. So if we switch back to this monitor here, what we want to do is just copy these three folders. Actually, we don't even need to copy that. We could just copy these two folders, well, config and hk_project.uproject, into all assets. And then now we just open it up. So we have two instances of Unreal Engine up at the same time. This is for productivity reasons. You don't have to do this, but I would recommend it. So now we've got the All Assets project open. You can see it looks like the same, but actually it's got this SFX folder in as well. So inside here, let's say we just go to character cat, meows, purr. You see we got these sound waves, and these are individual. Let's just do a bit of a louder one. Let's do distant ones. So these are like the raw sound files, and also you've got the sound cues. This is quite a big one, and you can play it, you can hear it, and it sounds a bit different because we're going through this modulator which is randomizing between these two pitches and these two volumes, and it's randomizing also like which sound it plays, so it can be one of any of these every time this cue is called. So this is how audio works in Unreal Engine. Now you can see here we've got sound class and attenuation. This is very important because if these weren't set and we're editing this file, this is gonna lead to it sounding like really terrible in the game. It might sound the same in your editor, but in the game it will sound really bad. So this is very important. This is why we've got this whole template set up. Now, in this mod, I want to replace the explosion sound. So we're gonna go to in the all assets project again. To Zerg. I believe it's moves. Yeah, moves explodes. You can also search like explode here. We've got this queue and all of these explosion sounds, right? So if we open this, it's a little bit more complicated. So here I'll just briefly explain what this is doing. If we play it, you can see it first plays one of these random sounds. So one of these sounds going into this random mode, modulates it a little bit, so changes the properties, and then it mixes it with this sound that plays slightly later. So this is a random of one of these, like wet components, then modulates them a little bit, and then adds a very small delay. But it basically makes the sound more interesting in the game, because it's not always exactly the same, and then mixes them together to the output. So to replace this file with like your own sound, you could go through and directly replace these, let's say these ones, right? You can directly replace them with one sound. You can replace them with 12 different sounds, whatever. But it's time consuming. Or you can replace just the one queue. So if we open this other one, this is the main project, and basically we need to make folders in this path. So we have sound SFX, and then character, and then Zerg, and then also I'll just right click and I'll show folder view, and then it's in moves as well. So I'm doing Control-Shift-N to make a new folder. It's a very nice Windows shortcut. No, it's called moves, right? Yeah. So inside here we now have the moves folder, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna, instead of, you can't copy these, you can't move this into another project. But what we can do is do it in the actual file explorer. So we're going to go back to this, and I'm also going to copy this to here. Right. So we have the main, this is our project we want to copy to. We go to sound, SFX, character, Zerg, no, not special, moves. We go for the explosion, so we need all of this explosion stuff. And we're going to Control-C, we're going to copy it. And then we're going to navigate to these folders we've just made and paste them in here. And you can see in your project, they've now been copied directly in. So you can see also that because our main project also has, if you open this, settings, all of these settings folders, the same one that all assets has, it automatically keeps the references to these, which is very important. This must be here, otherwise your sound is gonna be terrible, and it might break other sounds in the game. Now we need to replace something in here. So what I'm gonna do is, firstly, we need to add our replacement sound. So I've navigated back to source content folder, and this is very important for like conflicts and stuff. Make an underscore custom sounds folder. It doesn't have to be called specifically this, but underscore keeps at the beginning and it's nice and unified. And then we make a folder for your mod name. So like brain aneurysm, I'll just call it brain A. And then we add an import. So we import a folder. So I need to import this sound. So strain modding, mods, tutorial, brain aneurysm, and here you go. That's the sound effect. And make sure, remember, again, it has to be org or WAV. Now we go back to moves, and we open this, and then let's say I just want to replace like these ones here. I want to keep this other stuff because it still makes it interesting. I don't want the sound to be exactly the same every time again. So I'm just going to replace this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to replace this Surg Explode Art1 with Brain Aneurysm meme sound effect. We also can delete this random. Now you can add multiple variations and plug it into a random node like this. That is fine. And now if we play the cue, it doesn't sound great because the modulator is changing it. So I'm just going to delete the modulator. And then I'm going to try again. So, it sounds pretty good. I'm going to increase this delay by like quite a lot because I think this should still play at the end of the sound. And it's just a bit of tweaking, so maybe like 0.9 to 1. Yeah, that sounds much better. So it's just like more interesting. And yeah, that's us making our mod. So now what we need to do is we need to cook the actual content that we've done. So we basically need to cook this queue, and that's it. That's all we need to cook. So we go project packaging settings. Now it should be set up already. If we click this show advanced button down here, it should be set up already in directories never to cook. Like that, this is a directory that we never want to cook. This is very important. Do not delete this because this contains, again, all of these files. Now technically, since they are reconstructed from the game itself, all the settings, they should actually be fine to pack and it probably shouldn't cause any issues. But just in case you have dummied them or they've been changed, just don't pack the project. And it keeps the file size down, it doesn't matter. So keep this here. Also, this is useful because if you have multiple mods in one project, which I suggest doing, you can then have, say, you have another called like project B, right? And let's say I have a bunch of sounds in here that's replacing like music or whatever. I don't want to go through and manually delete these afterwards. I want to just be able to like not pack these. So in project settings, we can add a new thing, custom sounds project B. And now it won't cook anything in project B. So the other thing is also use pack file is off. This is very important. And just keep everything else as it is. So now we go package, settings, package project, and then we select our, so we go tutorial, and it'll take a little bit to package. Maybe first time it will probably take slightly longer than it usually does, but I think this is going to be pretty quick actually. Pretty much finished. There we go. So you can see here inside this folder, it's created a folder called Windows No Editor. What we want to do is go into it, and we go to content, and you see these shader archive files, they're quite large. You can just delete that, you don't have to, it doesn't really matter. But you can see here, SFX, character Zerg, moves, we've got all of this stuff, right, we've got the cues. We also want to just delete all of this stuff, because this is all, like, those wet components that we're still using in the queue, those are still going to be referenced in the game. This is very important. When we load our mod into the game, all the references we've provided inside of our queue, like the reference to game sound tool settings as class default in C01 that you can see that's pop up here. This is going to be as it is in the game. So like the asset is there in the game, so it's fine. So now we want to go back to just check Brainer. Yep, the sound effect is there. So this should work. So now we want to copy this content folder, and I'll have a link in the description to download this tool, but it's basically just the Unreal Engine 4.27 packer tool, like standalone Unreal pack. And I've got a folder here called input_p, and you put your content folder inside of that. And now all you do is drag input_p to repack.bat. Just drag it in, and you can see here that this has appeared. It says all this stuff, whatever. Continue, and now you've got input_p .pack. You can rename it to like brain aneurysm. Now it's very important. Make sure it has _p .pack in the name. Otherwise, it might not work. In fact, it's very likely that it won't work. So now let's go to Stray, which is here, and we go HK project content packs. This is how you load it. You just copy and paste it into this packs folder in your Steam game, and now we load up the game. So I'm going to load up Stray. Okay, so I've picked this sewers chapter to test in. So I'm just gonna kill some Zergs, and hopefully, hopefully you'll hear it. There we go. Obviously, like say, oh, it's too quiet, you can increase the volume multiplier here to whatever. And it's just, again, a bit of testing. Now let's say you're replacing something with an audio, like a sound, which, you know, you want you want to hear it everywhere. What you can do is override attenuation, and like by just clicking this checkbox, so this won't be used, but like anything else will be used. You can also select anything else. So if you like the attenuation settings of any of these other ones made like in the game, you can just select it and it will work fine. Again, like it's just all references. I wonder if this has a concurrency. Oh, it does. Yeah, so this changes like the number of like audio sounds you can play at once. If you want an audio mod like a meme one again or something that just plays like a shit ton of the sounds that overlap each other, just deliberately sounds terrible, you can just delete these concurrencies, and it will stop. It will like stop limiting the number of sounds that are playing. Now another method of modding audio, which personally I don't like as much because you don't get as much control, and also it's kind of annoying, is you can directly replace like the audio. So if I go into moves here, and I'll just directly import it again, this one. What you can do is, this is inside, yeah, this is inside the right project, okay. Zerg _explode _alt1. Now you won't let me do that right now, because I gotta delete them. Force delete. So those assets have gone. So now we're just gonna recall it. I'll just delete that as well. And then if you just Control C, Control V, it will just make a bunch of them. I want up to 12. And it's kind of irritating because now we've got to manually rename each one. But you get the picture. So let's say we only did 3, right? Because I'm lazy. I only want to replace like 3 of them. So this will only replace like 3 sounds out of 12, so you have a 1 in 4 chance of getting this sound. And you wouldn't have to replace the cue either. So the cue could just be the normal cue, but it will be calling these sounds instead of the actual ones. So to do that, all you need to do is just repackage your project. Let's package settings, my bad. Delete this one, which is the old one. Don't need that anymore. Select folder. Wait for it to package. There we go. And we just redelete this stuff. We can delete custom sounds. We could have also added it as a directory to never cook inside of the Unreal Engine settings again, but this is just quick and easy. We can delete the queue, and we can delete all this wet component stuff. So now we're left with the three sounds that we replaced or whatever. So now if I copy this content, delete the old one, paste it in, drag it into here, and then just put it in there, delete the old one. Doesn't matter what it's called for now. And then I'll again meet you back when I'm ready to test. Okay, so I'm ready to test, and just remember that we only replaced 3 of the 12 files, so we only have a 1 in 4 chance to hear it like every time we kill a Zerg, so we should hear it a few times here. There we go, we heard it once, we heard it twice there. And you can hear that the modulation, I did mess up a little bit there, hang on a minute. It's really high pitched sometimes, because in the sound cue, remember we have that modulation node, which is randomizing the pitch, so it sounds terrible. So in this circumstance, it is just better to replace the cue, because then we can remove that modulator node. But if you're, say, replacing this music, like this ambient music, and I will actually now show you that here. As effects, we got music, and then the 3 different types of music. There's, yeah, just all the music in the game basically. And there's no sound cues for most of this stuff. Like you might have the shop cue, but it's just literally a looping wave player. That's all they've done. They've just put in a wave player and it's set to looping. It's why they've done a cue for that. So if you want to replace music, that's the method you use. So I hope this tutorial has been useful. I will again put the tools links in the description and the Stray modding Discord in the description. You should definitely join it. It's a great Discord. And also I will probably make a written version of this guide for like extra details and things I might have missed here. And yeah, thanks for watching.